Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Coffee, where in today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at a perceived plot hole in The Rise of Skywalker that's cleared up a little bit more in the novelization of the film. That's today here on Star Wars Coffee.
I have spoken.
Hello there to all of the returning subscribers, but if you're new to the channel and you're just finding Star Wars Coffee for the first time, be sure to always hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell. And don't forget to check out Star Wars Coffee on Twitter and Twitch, and don't forget to check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise. Links are in the description below.
Do it!
And now let's go to a galaxy far, far away.
This is the way.
The Rise of Skywalker is already released on digital, so if you have a iTunes account or Google Play, you can go ahead and purchase that film digitally. It's not on Disney Plus yet. There has been no release date of its arrival onto the Disney streaming platform, but it will be coming out on its DVD release that was not impacted by the coronavirus, so it will be coming out on March 31st as scheduled. The novelization of the film is out now as well in an audiobook form that we originally thought was going to be canceled due to an Amazon cancellation for those who pre-ordered it, but it is actually out. I've listened to it. It's well read. It's good. And there's also still the classic book version with just the text if you want to read it that way. So there are plenty of ways to get more insight into what we're about to talk about today, which is this perceived plot hole in The Rise of Skywalker in this account. So we're going to take a look at this. It's called Star Wars Explains Rise of Skywalker's X-Wing Plot Hole by Chris Ager. The Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker novelization provides an explanation for the film's plot hole regarding Luke's X-Wing. In the movie, Rey returns to Ahch-To after her duel against Kylo Ren on Kef Bir, with the intention of living the rest of her days in isolation on the remote planet. However, a pep talk from her old master, Luke Skywalker, encourages Rey to fulfill her destiny and defeat Emperor Palpatine once and for all. The only problem is that when Rey changed her mind, she seemingly had no way off Ahch-To. Upon her arrival, she destroyed Kylo Ren's TIE fighter, rendering the ship useless. Luke came to Rey's aid again, providing her with transportation to Exegol. In a clear callback to The Empire Strikes Back, Luke lifted his old X-Wing out of the water so Rey could fly it. The only problem with this was that it appeared to be a retroactively create a Last Jedi plot hole. The Last Jedi art book confirmed Luke had destroyed his X-Wing when he got to Ahch-To, so based on that information, the ship should not have been able to be used in The Rise of Skywalker. However, now that the official novelization is out, Lucasfilm is attempting to explain the perceived plot hole. In the scene where Rey approaches Exegol, author Ray Carson provides some additional insight into the X-Wing and why it was actually flyable despite allegedly being destroyed by Luke. This excerpt from The Rise of Skywalker states as follows: "It was old tech, and it had taken some fast thinking and even faster fingers to get it flight-worthy. The wing patched with the door to Luke's hut, shield panels scavenged from the TIE wreckage, and a hefty amount of rewiring." What this reveals is off-screen. Rey used her scavenger background to perform some quick repairs on the X-Wing to get it up and running. Carson makes a point to write in the same passage that the X-Wing is not fully functional in the slightest, adding, "It might never fly again," not without help from Rose and her parts requisition channels. So whatever Rey did, it was bare minimum just to get the ship off of the ground. This definitely helps smooth over any concerns viewers initially had with the Rise of Skywalker scene. From what can be garnered in the novelization, Luke did indeed destroy the ship and it had to be fixed before it could fly again, which leads me to the question of why he just let it sit on Ahch-To. I don't understand why we would see Luke's X-Wing there if he allegedly destroyed it like Rey did her TIE fighter. So that's something to ask Rian Johnson, I suppose. From what can be garnered in the novelization, its timeline is a bit murky when compared to the movie. Rey apparently stayed on Ahch-To overnight to fix Luke's ship before embarking on Exegol, so this may also explain why Luke didn't fly the X-Wing to Crate in The Last Jedi, because he had destroyed it. He didn't have the resources or the time to repair the ship, and yet he projected himself through the Force. So he had no choice but to do that, instead to face Kylo Ren and save the Resistance and his sister. One of the more common critiques of The Rise of Skywalker is that the film comes across as rushed and isn't entirely thought out. This is specifically noticed by most critics and fans in the first act, when we know there's a lot more of the scenes that were shot on, camera for Exegol that we didn't get to see. We know that General Pride and Hux were on Exegol and that there's stuff filmed for that. Unfortunately, that's not on any of the release of this film, so that's something we're going to have to wait for some type of exclusive deluxe release to see. The X-Wing scene is a prime example of this complaint. I remember when I went, my friend was sitting next to me, and he leans over to me and says, yeah, that's not going to fly after it's been sitting there for 30 years or whatever. And so the X-Wing scene is the biggest complaint and probably the biggest plot hole to hinge on that third act. And Palpatine's return also felt odd all of a sudden due to the lack of the setup, but they kind of quickly brushed over that with the back-to-tank type of thing. So on the surface, it's cool to see Luke finally be able to lift his ship out of the water as a great echo to Empire, but as it's presented in the movie, the sequence doesn't entirely play with what comes after it, and since JJ didn't make The Last Jedi, kind of falls off the wagon with that a little bit as well. The film makes it seem as if the X-Wing was ready for flight all along, so Luke must have just taken it out, put it back in, like kind of used it as a garage or something like that, which is why it took some issue with the scene. And an argument can be made that the movie would have been improved if this was included, had Rey stayed overnight, maybe we see the caretakers again. Pausing the story to show Rey doing some speedy repairs may have slowed down the momentum, however, when her getting to Exegol with the arrival of Ben Solo, etc., since it was in the third act, and it's supposed to be the fastest pace of the story with the most happening at once. But it would have cleared up what audiences perceived to be a gaping plot hole, literally from the first viewing. So, despite all of that, I still think that the scene works well. The novelization is canon, so it's essentially just, including the deleted scenes, which is what we know. Ray Carson, when promoting the book, has said that it includes deleted scenes and extra stuff that wasn't even shot for the film. So it's really a comprehensive, full-fledged, fleshed-out movie just in the book. So I encourage all of you to go read that if you want to get more into it. Specifically what I read in the books, there's a really great scene between Kylo and Palpatine. You get more dialogue between the two of them at the beginning of the film if you felt a little rushed. It extends, it gives Kylo's thoughts as he's going through that, which is really cool to see. Also, before we go, I have started a Patreon. I've got a link in the description for that if you guys want to go check that out. There's a couple of different tiers for you guys to check out from, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys wanted to go ahead and support me on that. But beyond that, thank you guys for watching. May God bless you and the Force be with you. If you enjoyed this episode, and frankly, even if you didn't, don't forget to subscribe.
Do it.
And if you want to help spread the word, please give this video a thumbs up and tell your friends to subscribe. Please check out the official Star Wars Coffee merchandise, and don't forget to check out all of the content playlists on this channel, including The Rise of Skywalker, The Mandalorian, and much more.